This is a map that shows the impact of tariffs on farmers across the country. Hundreds of thousands of them work in industries that are impacted by tariffs. These are the states that voted for Trump, and you can see the overlap. China and Canada placed retaliatory tariffs focusing on the Midwest and the South, and that's intentional. This is meant to send a message to the president and apply pressure to Republicans who have to answer to their own constituents. Farming is an easy target because the United States exports more than $100 billion of agricultural goods each year. Let's look at where I'm from, Iowa. Iowa is a top producer of corn, it's a major producer of soybeans, which is a big export, and it's the second largest agricultural exporting state. The state's largest export market is Canada, and the fourth largest is China. For farmers, these kinds of export sales can determine whether they stay afloat. China and Canada place tariffs on corn, soybeans, and a list of other U.S. farm products. This makes it more expensive for buyers to purchase U.S. farm goods. That can make the buyers turn to cheaper products from Argentina or Brazil instead, and it's hard for U.S. farmers to get those markets back. Farmers have been the target of trade wars before, like in Trump's first term, when agricultural exports plummeted by more than $27 billion. The impact was so bad that the White House had to bail out farmers with subsidies of over $20 billion. Trump gave several buckets of payments to farmers in his first term, for the trade war, for pandemic assistance, and some said that was an effort to shore up their political support. Farmers are still a strong voting bloc for Trump. About 77% voted for President Trump. The trade war was painful for farmers the first time around, but this time it could be much worse because the tariffs are bigger, the retaliation is bigger, and the economy is feeling more brittle.
They were promised prosperity, but now they feel abandoned. Across America's heartland, the very farmers who once chanted Trump 2024 are now grappling with regret. Welcome to Explore with Chooks channel, where we break down unfiltered truth about politics and economy. From trade wars to rising costs of fuel, fertilizer, and equipment, many farmers say the Republican promises just didn't deliver, and now they're heartbroken and speaking out. We've gathered voices from across the country, real stories from real people, farmers who say their loyalty was taken for granted. Someone said, "I voted Republican my whole life, but now I'm not so sure they care about folks like us anymore." In this video, we dive deep into the growing rift between rural America and the political leaders they once trusted. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And a huge thank you to the creators whose work helped bring this story to life. Stay glued till the end. I will be right back.
I need all the farmers for Trump to come to the front of the class because I hear you're asking the rest of us for money because Donald Trump's tariffs are going to financially ruin you. And what's so funny about that is, didn't Donald Trump and his tariffs bring you to the brink last time? Because he got you into a trade war with China. And now China is basically cutting off corn, soy, all agricultural products, and they're looking to other places like Canada, Brazil, anywhere else they can get agricultural products, and U.S. farmers are the ones left holding the bag. There's a soybean farmer that's been making the rounds here, and he's saying, "I voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and I was glad to, and I like his policies, but these tariffs are hurting us, and I need you to stop this, Mr. President." And they're asking us for another bailout, the taxpayers, another bailout because they decided to vote for Donald Trump for a 3rd time. That's a fuck around and find out, my friends. And I'm not here to help financially support these people. They want to bitch and moan, all these people on the right, about people being on welfare and people needing handouts. And, well, farmers, wear those bootstraps that you guys like to talk about all the time. Why don't you find them and pull yourselves up from them? Because we are tired of bailing you out. I understand that if you don't get bailed out and these tariffs ruin you guys, it's going to have a huge impact on the rest of us. But I knew that before the election. I knew that when I was stumping for Kamala Harris and telling people not to vote for Donald Trump. So you're fuck around and find out. I hope it's a little more personal because you guys decided to continue to vote against your own interest and cut off your nose to spite your face. It's time you sit in it for a minute.
Just a couple of hours ago, I convened a roundtable of farmers from New York who are desperately fearful that this is going to kill their livelihood. I mean, they export most of their products to Canada. They get a lot of supplies. Their fertilizer all comes in from Canada. The sawdust that they use for their animals comes in from Canada. So I don't know what they're thinking in Washington, but this is going to crush the livelihoods of people who supported them. These are your supporters you're killing. So it makes no sense. And to say that it's short-term pain for long-term gain, like, people want relief now.
Well, another day and another story about the people who voted for Donald Trump absolutely terrified that Trump is going to do what he promised to do.
I mean, this was in the Washington Post this morning. Quote, midway through the spring planting season, farmers in a state whose electoral votes went to Trump in the past 3 elections are struggling with the unpredictability of his tariffs, which threaten their access to foreign markets and add a heavy dose of uncertainty to an already capricious undertaking. Should they plant more soybeans? Well, most of that crop gets sold to China, but maybe not now, I guess. Whenever you do to plant now, you have to hope Trump doesn't kill the foreign market for that crop before you harvest in a few months.
It's springtime in the Heartland, and a very different planting season is getting underway.
If you had to put it in a word, what has it felt like watching this all play out?
Unsettled would be my word.
Yeah.
Kevin Malchine's family has been farming this Wisconsin land since before the Civil War.
Growing up with it,
Yeah.
and seeing the stresses of my grandpa and my dad help prepare the mindset that I think I need to have.
Well, 6 generations of wisdom.
Yeah, it helps.
He's no stranger to adversity.
We deal with floods and droughts and too hot, too cold, insects, weeds, all those things. But there's things that you can do to mitigate some of those risk factors.
Yeah.
It feels like tariffs are a little bit harder to deal with because it's entirely out of our control.
Like most farms in America, most of the soybeans grown here are ultimately bought by China. And amid this trade war, many farmers are now bracing to have to figure out who else will buy their crops.
China buys more American soybeans than any other country.
The nation produces a little bit over 4 billion bushel of soybeans. I think it was 42% last year were sold to China.
42%.
Yeah.
All told, China paid nearly $13 billion last year to American farmers like Kevin. The president has placed a staggering 145% tariff on all Chinese products entering the U.S. In response, China placing a 125% tariff on all American goods, including soybeans.
We have this sorted by soybean seed over here, and we have corn seed over here. There's a lot of money that goes into a crop every year, and that's part of the risk that farmers are accustomed to taking. And really the tariffs just add another element of risk. The longer this goes on, there'll be more and more concern.
Are you concerned even if these tariffs do ultimately deliver what the president is hoping, which is a more level playing field globally? That takes time.
Yeah, these markets have been created over decades, multiple administrations, and here he's trying to fix that in 100 days or 200 days, whatever you want to say. And it's going to have a major impact in not too long of a time.
Like most farms in Racine County, Kevin plants about half soybeans, half corn every year. But he says moving away from soybeans isn't like flipping a switch.
Some people think, well, just raise a different crop. That's a big ship to turn when you're talking about Midwest ag production. Corn, soybeans are what we do. That'd be very difficult. That would take years and years to change what we do.
Instead, he says his best hope may be to find other countries to buy his crop, filling the void left by the Chinese market.